The celebrity chef Anthony Worrell-Thompson, who comes from High Wycombe in Buckinghamshire, has apologised after being cautioned by police for shoplifting. The 60-year-old was arrested at a Tesco store in Henley-on-Thames in Oxfordshire on Friday. He said he was devastated for his family and friends and would be seeking treatment.
Hearts and Bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
6 minutes past 5 o'clock. The celebrity chef Anthony Worrell-Thompson has apologised for shoplifting from Tesco. He was cautioned by police after being spotted at least 5 times taking goods without paying. The 60-year-old, who's from High Wycombe, says he doesn't know why he did it. Simon Stevens is from Addictions UK, who help people who have a problem with stealing. Simon, very good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon to you.
Welcome to the programme. This is an intriguing case. Simon, is it true that it's really the people that do not need to steal that actually end up stealing?
It can be true. We talk about an issue called pathological dependency. It's perhaps more broadly known as addiction, although addiction can mean different things to different people. But it's a case that the actual act of stealing can produce a stimuli in the brain that rewards the reward centres in the brain. In particular, what it can do is desensitize people who are genetically very sensitive. It's very similar to many other process addictions or indeed addictions to drug and alcohol.
That's fascinating the way you describe it, because I'm clearly not an expert, but I don't see that. I just cannot get my head around why anybody, no matter whatever frame of mind they're in. I can understand somebody, for example, who has no job, no money, who is desperate for food. I can understand them walking into a shop and stealing a leg of lamb. They're going to feed their kids. I understand that. Don't condone it, but understand it. But I don't understand it from someone who has a lot of money.
Right. Well, first of all, let me say that people with this illness and the general addictions illness or pathological dependency, which is a more accurate phrase, that we're not responsible for our illnesses, but we are accountable for our actions. So I'm not saying that people are not accountable for what they do, but what I'm saying is that they are genetically predisposed to being exceptionally sensitive. This particular behaviour is a learned behaviour that releases chemicals in the brain that desensitizes that individual. So at times of extreme stress and things, that individual may actually seek to shoplift as a way of desensitizing themselves.
I understand that, but it's one thing walking into a TV studio, for example, and filming a series of cookery programs, and people have brought in all sorts of stuff, and you think when you go home at the end of the night, you think, well, I'm taking that case of wine home, and I'm taking that piece of beef home, and I'm going to put it in the freezer. It's nothing walking to a supermarket 5 times in 16 days and walking out without paying for the goods. Is it for the thrill of it?
There is a thrill element, but it's very much to do with the various stimuli that are created within the brain. You've got to recognise that this is a compulsive illness. Just like an addict who might well know that, for example, drugs are exceptionally dangerous for them, they may well have cleaned up their act, if you like, but then they return to that behaviour. Pathological dependency is about people who often stop what they're doing but find that they are powerless about returning to that behaviour. And at the end of the thing, they turn around and say, I don't know why I did that. That is just so crazy.
You see, I have worked with Anthony Worrell-Thompson on a couple of BBC programmes before, and he's the nicest bloke you could ever have to meet. That's why I'm baffled by all this. And I mean, how do you go about treating someone with a shoplifting problem like a shoplifting problem?
How do you go about treating somebody? You look at mechanisms that allow you to cope with that real sensitivity around emotion without resorting to that desensitizing behavior in the first place. So it's a case of counseling and teaching. It's a case of coaching. We're very familiar with working with people who have shoplifting or even shopping addictions here at Addictions UK.
Nice talking to you, Simon. Wish you well.
Okay, then.
Simon Stevens from Addictions UK.